Okay, today we're just doing a quick little video on how to take a photocopy and transfer it onto paper without having to use tracing paper or anything like that. Okay, so we have this handsome little chicken here. We're gonna get him on this nice piece of drawing paper that we're gonna be using for a marker and ink shading project. Okay, so I have my chicken, and the first thing that I want to do is I want to get a bunch of graphite on the back of this. Now, you can take a pencil and color the whole back of it, but that's a big waste of time. And so what we're going to do instead is we're going to use a transfer or a backlit transfer technique. So what I'm going to do is I have just a Microsoft document open on my computer. I'm going to turn the brightness all the way up, and I'm going to use my computer screen like a light box. And so you can also use an iPad for this. You can use a window, any sort of door that's got a window in it works great. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to put this on here, and I'm going to use it to make the paper see-through so I can tell what parts I want to outline. Now, for the sake of efficiency, I've already started scribbling on some of the back of this so that I can get through this video nice and quick to show you guys how to do this. So once I put this on here, I can see through my paper, okay? And I may need to make a little like dark area with my hand, or put a little like a hoodie on over my face so I can get my face really close. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to go around and color in any areas that have stuff I want to transfer. Okay, now I want to make the area I'm coloring in a little wider than I think it needs to be, so that I make sure that I'm getting enough dark shading, right? And so this is the head. So there's a lot of detail on the head, so I'm going to color that area in kind of wide because I know there's a lot of different stuff I'm going to trace. And then I'm going to come around my edges to make sure I have a thick enough layer. Down here's where the feet are, right? And so there's feet in that dark area that I have missed. So I'm going to make a little window where I can see. See, now I can see that foot through there. And I can see I need to color all the way down on that. Okay, now on an iPad it has a touch screen, so it might do weird things behind this while it senses touch through the paper. So don't let that distract you. Okay, and what this is going to do is this is going to make it so that I can transfer all of this onto my drawing paper really quickly and easily. So when you're doing a really technical drawing, you may not want to spend a bunch of time getting your outline on there. Now, I know with marker shading that I expect I'm going to make some mistakes, and I may need to restart a few times. And so this is what I'm doing to speed up the whole process. Okay, so now I have a transfer, and you can hold it up to the light to see if you got all your areas, or you can hold it back onto your screen and look at it some more. So once I do this, I can see through that little opening that I have missed part of the chicken's, some of that fleshy skin on the side. It is low-key kind of creepy, so I missed some of that, so I went back and colored it in. Okay, now I'm just going to take my drawing paper, I'm going to set this on here, and this is the important part. You got to tape it, okay? So I want my chicken about there. So I'm going to tape this on here so that I can draw and then flip it back and forth and look at it. So I know I don't need this upper part of my paper. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of neatly rip it off. Okay. Now, this is ready to go. I have all my graphite on there. So I'm going to take a piece of masking tape. And one of the things I do to make sure that my tape is not too sticky is I take it and I stick it on my forearm to detack it a little bit. Peel it off because I don't want it to rip my paper when I go to take it back off. Okay, so we're gonna get our chicken friend nicely arranged how we want it and how we planned it in the composition. Okay, so I'm gonna put him low and a little off to the side, just right there. Okay, so when I have it in the right place, what I'm gonna do then is I'm going to a little piece of tape over the top. Now, a lot of people use a pencil for this part. I like to use a pen because it rolls nicely over the paper and doesn't make as many indentations. So I have a little ballpoint pen right here. Now all I'm gonna do is start outlining the shapes that I have. And the piece of tape is actually pretty important. It keeps it from shifting around. So I'm gonna get all my details. And this part you wanna be really precise because you want those shapes accurate to your photo. And of course, doing this, you may need to have gone in and enlarged your photo to make sure it's exactly the size that you need it. before you start. So I'm just going to go around and outline, and I like to periodically flip it up and check my transfer. So all I'm doing is just transferring the pencil that is on the back of this page onto my paper with this transfer technique. And I like to do this because it saves me a ton of time. Okay, we have chicken eye right here. And I also use this to kind of denote light and dark areas too. Like, okay, here's an area where I'm gonna want some shading. Here's some lighter feathers that I'm just gonna make sure I'm sketching in so that I have my light areas. And you can see how easily that transfers onto the paper. So I'm gonna keep going around. Now, one of the things that is good about having it taped is that if you outline something and you're like, that's hard to see, or it doesn't have enough of the detail that I want, what you can do, only if you have taped it down, is you can flip it up and add more. So right there, I have this outline and I've missed part of the information that I need there. So what I can do is I can flip my chicken back over. I can kind of look at where that is, and I can come in and color the area that I missed the graphite that I need. So we can just add to it right there. Flip it back over, making sure to keep it lined up nice and carefully. And I can go back over that area because I need that separation between the body to show right there. And now it showed that time because I went back and added more graphite. Okay, so this is a really easy and free, most importantly, free transfer technique that you can use anytime you want to make a good transfer for a shape that you're going to be drawing. And it's really fast, okay? And it works fantastic. And so it's very simple and very easy to use, okay? Super user-friendly, don't need any special equipment, don't need a light box, and you can get your whole image transferred onto your paper in just a few minutes. Now, one thing is press somewhat lightly, because otherwise what's going to happen is you're going to make deep indentations in your paper if you're doing pencil shading. I'm just using this for markers, so I can be fairly heavy-handed and it's going to be fine. But if you're doing a pencil drawing, you want to make sure you use really light pressure for this so that it doesn't leave deep grooves in your paper that are hard to get into with graphite. Okay, so there's my chicken. I'm gonna keep going, and that's how you do a transfer, and that's all you need. Really easy.